Okay, so I want to revisit a podcast I did a while ago about too many superhero films because right now it seems like the market's saturated, and I wanted to get my buddy Lane here on the show to talk to him for two reasons. One, because he has a podcast which is the Candy Box.
The Candy Box podcast. Yeah,
and it's pretty much about nerd stuff.
Nerd.
The nerd community.
Nerd.
Like, nerds. Like superhero stuff and whatnot. Plus, also, he's also the biggest nerd I've ever met. Literally,
Really?
You are.
like like lengthwise.
Yeah,
I see. Yeah,
literally. Like, how tall are you?
6'4". 6'4".
Get out of here.
Yeah.
So for those of you guys watching, you're probably thinking, man, either that guy's really tiny or Lane's that big, but that's kind of both.
A little bit of
ends of the
both.
spectrum. Okay, so anyways, the whole podcast prior, it was talking about how, like, Robert Pattinson is going to be the new Batman.
Yeah.
And everybody was, like, talking, discussing, debating about, I think it's going to be a great Batman. I think it's going to be a terrible Batman. Great, bad, terrible, whatever. But it's like, I was like, do we really need another Batman movie? Is that really what we need?
Right.
No, you I know you like superhero movies, right? It's like
Sure,
part of
yeah.
But
Yeah,
do you think at all that it's like saturated, or you're like it's?
Well, yeah, it can be. It doesn't have to be done anymore. There's no reason we need another Batman movie, but I'm still gonna go see it.
So what about like the Supermans and the Spider-Mans and like or Spider-Mans? Anyway,
Spider-My.
So they make these movies, and they use different characters to be the hero.
Sure.
And then I'm confused about it because I'm like, it's not the same Spider-Man, but everybody's like, no, it's a different universe. It's this and it's that, and like they'll like kill somebody off, but then he'll be on another movie. It's like I thought he killed him off. It's like no, that was a different universe. This is a different. It's like how does that even work? How is there even legitimacy to like different universes?
Yeah, I can agree with that, but I feel like a lot of the reason, like, because Marvel's done it so right, I guess, in the eyes of all the critics and the fans, that also DC feels like they need to just start catching up, and like they need to do the same thing. So that's why they keep rebooting all their films, just so they can get it right, and then they can have the same amount of success that Marvel's had.
What do you think is the possibility of them bringing back Iron Man and just saying it's a different universe?
I say there's a very high possibility, especially with all the remakes. I mean, I feel like they could have stopped after the Dark Knight series, the trilogy.
That's one with Christian Bale.
Yeah.
Okay.
He played that Batman so well, but then they wanted to bring Batman into the DC universe with all the rest of the characters, which made sense. So they had to recast Batman. They had to make a whole different storyline with him. So for someone like Iron Man, I feel like sure, yeah, if they wanted to keep that character alive, I'm sure it's going to happen at some point. I mean,
No, you brought up DC and Marvel. What's the difference? Like, say, Batman in like a Marvel movie, or Batman in a DC movie, or Batman in whatever movie. Like, is one like darker, or is there like different character? I don't get the difference between the different universes and whoever makes it.
oh, that's just rights. Like Marvel has their own entertainment company. DC's all their movies are run through Warner Brothers. Now that Marvel is run by Disney, because Disney owns everything, it's more of a matter of what they want to do now. And with Warner Brothers, I guess they just want to keep pushing out bad DC movies.
There's so many superhero movies, like
Yeah.
Shazam, and there's of course the Avengers, and they all have their own movie. And then there's like Batman versus Superman, and then there's now. Do you consider the like Star Wars movies? Do you consider those to be superhero movies?
I mean, in every movie, I feel like you can have a superhero. I feel there's always the protagonist who's looked at as the hero. So much as super, I don't know, because they don't have powers. I mean, they have the Force, I guess, in Star Wars, but I mean,
because what does a person need in order to be like a superhero? What's like the criteria they need to meet?
um, that's a good question. I guess the hero needs to have some sort of conflict in their life. Obviously, I mean, it's just basic uh, movie points, like just everything you need in a film. The hero's journey. If anybody's ever followed the hero's journey, that's there's a whole story to be told within the hero's their story. So they follow their journey, and then there's always it's just like what you learn in elementary school: the rising action, the climax, the falling action, the resolution. It's all the same. It's just a matter of how these companies want to follow it. And like something like Star Wars, I would say yes, by technical terms, Luke Skywalker is a superhero. There's a protagonist and an antagonist, and I mean, really, that's all you need. I guess.
Now, do they need like an alter ego?
No,
No.
because I mean, I wouldn't say so. Iron Man is Iron Man, but everyone knows it's Tony Stark. So
I mean, the same thing would go with like Captain America and Hawkeye and
sure,
okay.
yeah, everyone knows who they are. So why would it matter whether or not like Luke Skywalker was known as Luke Skywalker or by Force Boy or something?
Yeah,
So,
Force Boy.
but so yeah, I mean, I don't think you don't necessarily need an alter ego like Luke Cage. His name is Luke Cage. Everyone knows him by Luke Cage. He doesn't have another name. I may be wrong about that. I think he does have some sort of alias, but everyone knows him as Luke Cage. So
Now, does a superhero need to like? Could a superhero be like local? Like, could he like? People say Superman's a superhero and Iron Man and all them the superheroes because they save the world from things.
sure.
But then you got like Batman, who I'm sure in the comic books saves the world, but in the movies, in the films, he's in Gotham. He saves Gotham from politicians and from So is he a superhero, and why was he be a superhero?
I mean, if you want to get down to like cutting it up like that, I guess there are different heroes for the world, different heroes for local communities, states, even however you want to cut it down to the universe. I mean, because like there's Captain Marvel. I don't know if you saw the Marvel films,
No, not yet.
but she's a character who it's established that she was from Earth, but with her powers, she was like she needed to do more. Like there's other planets that needed help, like Earth. Like Earth needed help at the time she was there to help, but there are more people out there like that. There are more planets like that. So she was protecting the whole universe. Then you get down to like planet wise, and that's like the Justice League International, stuff like that.
Now, do you need? I mean, well, I'm still confused about this because I was about to say, do you still need like a superpower or something like that to be a superhero? But you have like Hawkeye, who doesn't have any superpowers. You have
Right.
Batman, who doesn't have any superpowers.
Right.
Iron Man, Black Widow.
Right.
So where does even the superpowers even come into play as far as superhero?
I guess it comes down to earlier, like when I was saying the protagonist. Like the protagonist in the movie doesn't necessarily need to have the powers, but they're known as the hero of the story. So you take a regular movie, I don't know, just name off a movie.
Let's go with Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters. I guess you would have 4 heroes in that film.
So are they superheroes? Keep in mind,
yeah.
they are saving the world from
They
a
are,
demigod or
yeah.
whoever Azul was.
Zool, yeah, they are saving the world. So technically, yeah. I mean, they are superheroes. They are the protagonists of the film. They are the main characters. I wouldn't say there's one over the other. I mean, I think the first one, if I'm not mistaken, there's 3, right? And then the second one, there's 4 of them. Ghostbusters.
I think there was 4 in the first one as well. I think he came in. I don't know. Great.
Yeah.
When did Winston come in? Because Winston was the one that came in
Yeah,
late.
exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, no, I would say they're the protagonist and Zool is the antagonist, and they have to follow their journey to defeat Zool and save not the world. I mean, well, yeah, sort of the world. But it was more local for them because they were all in New York, right? So, in a way, yeah, they are superheroes. They built these gadgets to be able to, and that's exactly what Iron Man did. He's got the whole like arc reactor thing going on, but
It doesn't necessarily give him any superpowers; just keeps him alive, right?
yeah. So that just keeps him alive. But he like built the gadgets and stuff. Same with Batman. He just has the money to build all these gadgets. He doesn't even build these gadgets. He gets them from Lucius Fox, as people see in the films and in the comics. So, Ghostbusters. Yeah, I would say they're superheroes.
The superheroes. Okay,
Yeah.
what about Let me throw out another one here. What about RoboCop?
Robocop. I haven't seen that movie in a minute. Robocop. There was immediately like in the beginning of the movie, it's like he gets like shot down, and then they build him, and
he pretty much goes rogue, but he's got powers where he can like see through walls. He has like pinpoint precision. He's got more superpowers than Hawkeye for the most part.
Yeah.
But would he be considered a superhero or just like a law enforcement officer cyborg?
It's weird because he has a different personality as he was as a human being. That's why there were so many problems between him and his wife, because he was half robot now. So like he was not the man he was when he was shot. So it's hard to say whether or not he was or wasn't. He's half man, half robot, and he's got to learn how to learn half of his feelings back. So in a way, I mean, if you want to say he's half a hero, sure. But
because who was it that Tony Stark created and ended up going rogue? Who am I thinking of? It was like a software or a robot of sorts.
Oh, like Ultron?
Is that Ultron? Is that Stark? Did he make that?
Yeah. He built Ultron.
And so would he be a superhero, supervillain?
He'd be a super villain, but
because he's man-made, he's not a.
Because Ultron had like the mind of like Jarvis, Tony, Bruce Banner.
Well, how about Jarvis? Is Jarvis a superhero?
If Tony wanted him to be, I guess he could. I mean, man, you're really.
I think the nerd community's got to sit down, get all these facts on the table, lay them down. Like, okay, this is make a little charter for what makes a superhero, what doesn't make a superhero. Otherwise, everybody's a superhero. I can't think of a movie. Rambo, for crying out loud. He takes on the whole. I don't know who he's fighting. The guerrillas, the people in Vietnam or something. He takes them all out by himself.
Yeah.
And it's like, how can that be a superhero? People are shooting at him. They're missing. He's shooting them. He's got a knife. And come on, man. He's a superhero. Terminator. Is he a superhero?
Yeah. I mean, technically, he was
the new one.
Dark Fate, yeah.
With so Sarah Connor now.
Mm-hmm.
Is she a superhero?
Now that she's back,
and she's saving the world.
Yeah.
And she has, as you were talking about earlier, she has the story behind her. How what we were saying what made her how she is.
Oh.
The back
like
story.
The journey.
Yeah.
The hero's journey. Yeah. Sarah Connor. Now, I mean, she ended up being the way she is because the Terminator told her that.
She has
right?
no less superpower than Black Widow and Hawkeye.
She's just got a few guns and wits, so backing her. So yeah, I mean,
she's a superhero?
By definition, sure, yeah, she's a superhero.
Okay, I'm gonna cut this off. I'm gonna end this, but before I do, one more. Quailman, is he a superhero?
Who?
Quailman.
Quillman.
Quillman from Doug. Don't tell me you don't remember Doug.
No, yeah. I'll end it off right here. Yes.
No, bam. Wrong. Just kidding. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. Thanks for Lynn for coming down. And, yeah.
Yeah.